This presentation is for the study of the New Mexico 22 BIA 88 interchange being done by the New Mexico Department of Transportation in collaboration with the Federal Highway Administration and Parametrics as the planning and engineering consultant. Please note that BIA 88 is referred to as Southern Pueblos or SP 88 in this presentation. The topics covered for the presentation begin with the project introduction, then the project development process, existing issues and constraints, the purpose and need for the project, concepts that were considered initially, design alternatives that were prepared, the analysis of those alternatives, the preliminary recommendation for the project, next steps, and how to provide input. New Mexico 22 serves several communities and recreation areas along and near its route. These include the Santo Domingo Pueblo, Sile, Peña Blanca, Cochiti Pueblo, and Cochiti Lake. The project is located where NM22 crosses over SP88 and the New Mexico Rail Runner Express tracks. This is also known as the Mateo Overpass and is located near the Santo Domingo Pueblo. The project focuses on two major areas of concern. First, the SP88 underpass below NM22 and the NM22 intersection with the loop ramp that connects to SP88. The SP88 underpass below NM22 has several issues today. The existing height of the underpass is 13 foot 10 inches, which will not allow for legal height vehicles that may be up to 14 feet tall to pass through. Large trucks and oversized loads must detour around the underpass. The lanes in the underpass are narrow with minimal shoulders, and also pedestrians use the path on the south side of the underpass. There are also issues at the NM22 intersection with the loop ramp that connects to SP88. Left turn crashes are the main problem here, with 4 crashes in a 3-year period. This crash rate is 41% higher than average for rural New Mexico roads. Contributing factors may include lane configurations, signs and markings, and vehicle speeds on NM22. Another issue with the interchange is that the acceleration and deceleration lanes are too short. There's not enough room for cars to slow down or speed up without interfering with through traffic on the major roadways. There are several constraints for this project. The budget currently available for construction is $3,599,000. If the cost will exceed this amount, additional funds will need to be found from other state, federal, and local sources. Second, the existing right-of-way is constrained. Third, the project must fit between 2 existing bridges at Galisteo Creek and the railroad tracks. These bridges can be repaired and do not need to be replaced at this time, and the roadway grade is set by these 2 structures. The purpose of this project is to improve access and safety at the NM22 SP88 interchange while maintaining pedestrian access. The need for these improvements is based on the high crash rate at the intersection and the deficient size of the existing underpass. This purpose and need statement is a federal requirement. Several concepts were initially considered for the SP88 underpass and the NM22 loop ramp intersection. For the underpass, a new bridge or similar structure is being evaluated, which will include underpass lighting. The underpass may be realigned depending on the interchange layout, and a pedestrian path would be built along the south side of the underpass that would connect to the existing sidewalk and trail. For the NM22 loop ramp intersection, design concepts that were considered include a roundabout, right-in, right-out intersection, and directional ramps. Several concepts were also considered but were ruled out initially. These included a major realignment of NM22, 4-way stop, traffic signal, or intelligent transportation system signage. A roundabout was considered for this project for several reasons. It would have several benefits, including reducing vehicle speeds and conflicts at the intersection. It would not allow left turns, which would address current crash issues. It would provide for smooth traffic flow. Roundabouts can be designed for semis, RVs, and oversized loads that are anticipated. Also, they have been built along highways similar to NM22, and they are recommended by the FHWA. Concerns with the roundabout at this location include the existing grade of NM22 is steeper than typically desired for a roundabout. It would require traffic to slow down from 45 miles per hour posted to 15 to 25 miles per hour through the roundabout. It would require additional right-of-way easement, and driver education on roundabout use could be required. There are also several reasons that right-in, right-out, or ramps were considered at the intersection. These would eliminate left turn conflicts, they would provide for smooth traffic flow, They would accommodate all vehicle types, and they are traditional acceleration and deceleration lanes that people are used to driving. Concerns about right-in, right-out, and ramps include they do not address speeding concerns on NM22. Merging with traffic is more difficult if speeds are high. More right-of-way is needed compared to other intersection types, and they have a higher cost and complexity to build, including widening or reconstruction of the railroad bridge. Design layouts to improve the underpass intersection and the interchange in general were developed. These layouts are called the project alternatives, which I will go over in the following slides. First, the no-build alternative represents minimal changes to the existing interchange. It is included in the study as a baseline for comparison with the proposed alternatives. It could be considered as a viable alternative if adequate funding is not available for the project. For alternative 1, the three-leg roundabout, a new roundabout would be constructed at the existing intersection with the loop ramp. The roundabout would be a single lane type with one circulatory lane. This alternative would reuse the grade of the existing loop ramp, and replacement of the SP88 underpass with a new bridge is included in this and all of the alternatives. On the alternatives maps, the blue lines represent the existing right-of-way easement limits for the interchange. The purple lines represent new right-of-way easement that would need to be dedicated for construction. Alternative 2, the four-leg roundabout, would take the three-leg roundabout and it would add a leg on the west side of the roundabout that would connect to SP88. This roundabout would have a single lane. This alternative would also replace the existing underpass box with a new bridge. Alternative 3 is right-in, right-out ramps. This would have new ramps east and west of NM22 at the existing intersection. The ramps would be connected to SP88. A curb or other type of barrier would be placed along the median of NM22 to prevent left turns. Longer acceleration and deceleration lanes would be required and would require the NM22 bridge over the railroad to be replaced with a wider bridge. This would also replace the SP88 underpass with a new bridge. Alternative 4 has west diagonal ramps. It would use on and off ramps for southbound traffic on the west side of New Mexico 22. Right-in, right-out ramps for northbound traffic are located on the east side of New Mexico 22 at the existing intersection. With longer acceleration and deceleration lanes, the NM22 bridge over the railroad tracks would require replacement with a wider bridge. This would require realignment of the SP88 underpass, which again would have a new bridge. The alternatives were analyzed by considering a number of factors that are listed here. The analysis is summarized in the evaluation matrix in the following slides. This matrix summarizes the results of the alternatives analysis. For several of the factors being considered, the alternatives did not have major differences. The areas where there were important differences are discussed in the next few slides. The first evaluation criterion I'm going to discuss is consistency with the purpose and need for the project. You will recall that the purpose and need is to improve access and safety at the interchange and also to maintain pedestrian access along SP88. Looking at the different alternatives, first, the no-build alternative does not improve access or safety at the interchange, so therefore it is not discussed further in this presentation. Alternatives 1 or 2, the 3 or 4-leg roundabout, would improve access and safety for interchange users, and they would also improve safety by reducing speeds on NM22. Alternatives 3 and 4 would improve access and safety by eliminating left turns, but they would not reduce traffic speeds on NM22, so they would not provide the same safety benefit. The next factor, railroad aspects, is important because the railroad carries significant passenger train traffic. Alternatives 1 or 2, the 3 or 4-leg roundabout, would not require major construction within the railroad right-of-way, which is a benefit. Alternatives 3 or 4, however, would require reconstruction of the railroad bridge close to and over the tracks. This bridge could be repaired and maintained today, so replacing it would add costs and risks to the project. The acquisition of right-of-way easement would be required for all of the alternatives. This acquisition would be obtained from the Santo Domingo Pueblo, and the NMDOT respects the Santo Domingo Pueblo's sovereignty and realizes this is an important consideration for the project. Alternative 1 requires the least right-of-way compared to the other alternatives, shown in purple below. Although all of the alternatives' right-of-way acquisition would be relatively small compared to the size of the current interchange. In terms of preliminary construction cost, funding, and implementation of the project, alternatives 1 and 2 with roundabouts are estimated to have a construction cost less than half of what either alternatives 3 or 4 would. This is important because NMDOT has the ability to program the level of funding needed for alternatives 1 and 2 in the next few years. However, alternatives 3 and 4 would require additional funds that would need to be allocated from federal sources over a longer period of time. Based on the current funding forecast, this could cause the project to be delayed indefinitely or canceled. In terms of community aspects, alternatives 2 or 3, the four-leg roundabout, or the right-in, right-out ramps, would provide better access to the Santo Domingo Pueblo to the west. Alternative 2 would slow down traffic somewhat, while Alternative 3 would have a more conventional layout. All alternatives would function similarly to the existing NM22 intersection during winter driving conditions. Based on the analysis, Alternative 2, the four-leg roundabout, has the most benefits of all the alternatives with no major disadvantages, so it is the preliminary recommendation of the NMDOT for this project. The basis for the recommendation is further explained in the following slides. Alternative 2 would meet the project goals by improving access and safety. It would replace the existing SP88 underpass box with a new bridge. It would eliminate left turn conflicts along NM22, and it would be designed to slow down traffic and improve safety. It would also be affordable compared to the other alternatives. Several design elements would be included in the design of a new roundabout. First, the roundabout would have a single lane, so it would be straightforward for drivers to navigate. Warning signs would be placed to warn motorists they are approaching a roundabout and need to slow down. The approaches themselves would be designed to reduce speeds, similar to this roundabout on New Mexico 585 near Taos. For this roundabout, traffic from the east approaches at a 55 mph posted speed, and the speed limit is reduced near the roundabout. Curbs and geometric design also serve to inform motorists that they are approaching a roundabout and should slow down. Intersection lighting will be installed to make the roundabout more visible at night. The intersection also could have landscaping or places for artwork as part of a future project. Flattening the grade or slope along NM22 is also being proposed, which would give cars and trucks a more level area to drive around the intersection. As shown on the profile view at the bottom of this slide, this would not require a major change to the existing level of NM22. The roundabout would include truck aprons, as shown in this video.
The central island of most roundabouts has a truck apron to allow easy movement of tractor-trailer trucks and buses. The truck apron is a paved area, usually separated by a mountable curb from the circulatory roadway. It gives trucks and other large vehicles extra room to navigate while still controlling passenger car speeds. This roundabout in Bend, Oregon is used by many tractor-trailer trucks and school buses. The truck apron is nearly flush with the roadway, allowing trailer tires to roll over it. Roundabouts are typically large enough for emergency vehicles to travel fully within the circulatory roadway, as shown here in Encinitas, California. The rear tires of large emergency vehicles, such as fire trucks, can roll over the truck apron if needed. While the curvature of roundabouts increases travel time to navigate the intersection, emergency vehicles often experience similar delays at other types of intersections because queues there are often much shorter. This residential roundabout in Wisconsin is navigated by a fire truck, which does not need to use the truck apron. Truck aprons can be designed with smooth curves, as shown in this Nebraska example. This allows the rear tires of the truck to comfortably mount the truck apron without risking rollover. School buses rarely need to use the truck apron. This Wisconsin roundabout is large enough to accommodate school buses wholly within the circulatory roadway. Suburban and rural roundabouts are used by a wide range of vehicles. The truck apron of this roundabout in Wisconsin gets frequent use from tractor trailers and farm equipment. At this urban roundabout in Greenwick, New York, a truck carrying a mobile home is able to make a left turn without impacting any curbs or signs. Note that escort vehicles enter the roundabout first and block some approaches to allow the truck to safely complete the left turn, but vehicles are still allowed to enter and exit on the approaches that do not conflict with the truck's movement. As the truck begins to exit the roundabout, each approach is reopened to traffic. This roundabout also has a large truck apron to accommodate the front cab of oversized load trucks. Observe how this truck carries a super load through a rural roundabout in Florence, Kansas at the intersection of two major highways. The truck uses a mountable truck apron and splitter islands to navigate. Signs and utilities can be located in normal positions and are not affected by the oversized load. Now compare trucks at roundabouts to trucks at signalized intersections. Observe how this truck carrying an oversized load makes a left turn at a signalized intersection in Ferndale, Michigan. The entire intersection must be closed while the truck completes the turning movement. The advantage of a roundabout is that non-conflicting vehicles can still sometimes enter and exit the roundabout while the truck completes its movement. With proper design and use of the truck apron, roundabouts can accommodate even the largest trucks, buses, and emergency vehicles. Generally, truck drivers and emergency service providers have supported the construction of roundabouts for their superior efficiency and safety over other intersection forms.
Please provide us with any comments, questions, or concerns you have about the project. You can submit them by email, regular mail, or phone. We ask that you provide comments by July 17, 2020, and we will do our best to reply promptly. The next major step will be to finalize and obtain approval for the study report, which will allow funding to be set aside for project construction. Then the design, environmental documentation, and right-of-way maps will be completed. In terms of construction, the current funding is for federal fiscal year 2023. This means construction could start in late 2022 or sooner if all the necessary steps can be completed in time. This slide shows the estimated length of construction as well as some of the potential temporary detour impacts that could occur. For additional information on the project, please feel free to contact Munaf Alalusi at the NMDOT Central Region Division at the email address and phone number listed below. Thank you.